Howdy guys, how's it going? So finally made it out to the spot that we're going to be camping at for tonight's video, and as you can see, it is a wet wintry day. Got some snow last night. Today the temp rose to about 34 degrees, which is what it is right now. So it's been on and off, just kind of some freezing and sleet and rain. I really need to hurry up and try to get our shelter set up. And the end of this paracord just got completely soaked, sitting in the end of the snow. We'll melt that off, but I'm going to be going for a tarp shelter that I've not used in a while, and I don't think I've ever used it in the snow. I've used it in the rain during the winter, which is kind of like what we got now, just this freezing, sleety kind of rain. But yeah, coming in, everything's done good. Wearing the JJ smock, the water repellent coating on it's done a great job. I do have a poncho in here. I opted for that instead of, well, as you can see, just stuff falling on me right now. Instead of like the Varstalika hard shell and stuff, I did my Varstalika tarp. We're going to be using it in that good old MO5 pattern. We should only need one long ridge line, I hope. And then I've got the tent stakes from one of my One Wind outdoor shelters. So that's what we're going to be using as far as that goes. And then I'll get into everything else when it's time. So yeah, we've camped this spot just once. And I mean, it's really tempting with the weather conditions and this on and off sleet to just throw up a tried and true plow point, which honestly we may end up just going for a plow point shelter if the tree alignment doesn't work for this. But this shelter is going to be fully enclosed, and if there's any wind or anything at any point, that will be nice to have. So let's see what our surface area is looking like here. If I remember the dimensions correctly, this thing is square. But it doesn't really matter. But before we do anything, and before I forget, we have to run our ridge line through our center tie-off point there. So we'll just stay that over there at y'all. And now what we want to do is kind of square these corners out over here. And this does slope up a good bit right there, so it levels out. So for this, like I said, we just stake out these two back corners. Oh. And then we just take and pull this tight. Ouch. Fryer right there. And then we come in, we grab our two corners here, we pull them in, bring it down, stake these out together. And then now we can figure out how we're going to run our ridge line. And yeah, you want to get this kind of as high as you can up, since we need it to hoist the center of our tarp up. And then for this one up here, I'm going to put a rope roller on it. Okay, and now we have a fully enclosed pyramid shelter. Instead of running the rope roller like I normally do, I took and run it up through that tree to have a bit of friction and then down here to right there, and then made a secondary piece of cordage, which I actually needed a piece of cordage this long after I'm done anyways for another little thing I'm doing. So anyways, that right there, I can tension that up. Now with this, I'm intentionally leaving some gaps here at the bottom. You can stake those out depending on how you do that. One side might slack more than the other. And then our entrance is this hole right here, but we can easily just unstake one of these without messing anything up, and then just hook it back, and then we can get inside of there. So okay, so it's like, see, I can unhook this corner, undone, doesn't hurt anything, and then now we can get our gear in and out of the weather. I would say the Tasmanian Tiger pack has done a great job of keeping everything dry. I did set it on my sit pad because their sleeping bag and stuff is on the bottom. Bring our corner back over, hook it, and everything is back to normal. And then to enter the shelter, you just pick this up, step inside. It's like once you're inside, you just reach out and you can throw this flap over, and you can just leave it like that if it's not going to be really windy, and you'll be fine. But we can also put a stake right here at the center, just kind of sticking up high, and easily reach under and then hook or tie out point that, and that'll hold it down. But I'll take you guys inside now so you can see what the space is looking like. Here is our Tarp's berthing canal. We'll just step inside here. And like I said, once this thing is set up properly and you've made most of your adjustments, there is a lot of room, because you gotta remember I'm squatting right here in all of this free space in the entryway. Got my large pack here, which is also acting just as a way to kind of hold up that wall a bit, and it'll serve that purpose throughout the night. I really didn't need to put my elephant skin mat down yet, but it's going to just act as additional floor space. And then, like I said, you just reach up right here into this loose fabric and find your center line there, and just kind of throw it over, and then you can reach underneath and then hook it down right there, and it makes everything nice and neat and, you know, pyramid shaped. And yeah, even though that it's been raining, just cold, it's like I said, a slushy sleet type mix. Just my body heat is like slightly started to cause the water to make this smock a little damp, but it's still repelling water pretty dang good. Underneath this, if I can get that to go down one-handed, just wearing a Appalachian Gear alpaca wool hoodie, and then a Cordia sun shirt for the moisture wicking properties, and that's it. Hiking in, great combination, moving around fine. And I can tell you this too, like just being in this shelter now for about 10-12 minutes, the temperature in here has got to be between, I'd say, 2 and 4 degrees warmer, and plus we're not getting constantly dripped on, and you know, there's no breeze or anything. So as you can see, still, like, we do have these gaps we could easily take and stake down, but I want that airflow in here. With a shelter like this, you're gonna get condensation 100% no matter what, especially since, you know, the ground and everything here is already wet. It wasn't worth clearing away what little bit of snow and leaf debris in here, because then that would just make the floor even muddier that much quicker. So just leaving that the way that it was. One thing I meant to bring was a candle, because that would be something. If you had a singular candle, you could light that in here without having to really worry about anything, and that would take a little bit of the moisture out of the air. Something I found when I was going through my gear, I found my homemade heater, but this is a bit too much. This one's a bit too big for a shelter of this size and space. But I probably will still use this for something later. I just wanted to bring this mainly as a way to dry my hands. and dry, you know, gloves or anything. We'll probably start a fire later too. I just wanted to give myself some options. And then also one thing that I was using on the way in, and that I'm going to use right now still, was this a Coupa hand warmer. This thing's waterproof and everything. I've had it on low in my pocket so I can just take it out and fondle it a little bit and warm my hands and stuff up. But it's also a good way that you know, if you take and turn this thing up a little bit and put it in your gloves, like inside this shelter, I don't even feel like I need gloves. I don't know if that's just because I've acclimated enough between coming in and doing what I've been doing, but yeah, in here perfectly fine. Tonight the low is just going to be I think down to 29 degrees is the lowest it's forecasted to go. We are in a bit of a dip here, so it might get about 27, but nothing crazy. I brought that British military sleeping bag from the budget sleep system video along with the Miltech bivy. I didn't bring an inflatable pad. Instead, I brought our good old Savata sleeping pad, obviously, and I've done that so that we'd have more of a floor space, and that's really just going to take up the spot that this elephant skin mat is taking up right now. And then I got this Highlander pad. I've tried this before, it works great. The ground's not like frozen through or nothing. You've seen how easy I got them stakes in the ground, because during the days up until last night, it's been getting up into about 40 degrees, so you know, we don't have no like permafrost or nothing here. So honestly, with just a Savata pad, I would probably be perfectly fine with that compressed, even with the compressed insulation of the British sleeping bag. Anyways, I'll get back with y'all whenever the weather starts doing something, or probably whenever we decide to start a fire. Alright, so I took and fixed it to where I can stake out that door flap just in case there is any breeze or anything that comes through tonight. But it's pretty much just been doing this pitter-patter of rain now for the past, I don't know, at least 45 minutes. And I'm assuming until it gets darker and cools off. I was really hoping that all of this was going to be snow, but unfortunately the temperatures have fooled us again during the day. So it looks like we're just going to end up having a bit of ice, and at the very least, hopefully just some snow tonight. But not went out and, you know, messed around with having a fire, just staying in here. Still no need really for gloves or anything. I mean, it can't be, but you know, it's definitely no higher than 36, but it's probably around 34, 35, because like this mix of stuff is just like right on the verge of changing forms. So I did bring my OUTAKS light with me that I will set up in here for later. I just don't think having my tripod in here is going to be much of an option really, but I'll see what I can do with that. I do have a really good meal though for later, so looking forward to that. Okay, so we got a little break in the rain. I'm going to go in and pull out our fire kit. I hadn't seen the video I've done on some different fire kits. Make sure to go check that out. I'm going to get one of these old ones out too that's just like covered in pocket lint. Yeah, everything is soaking wet. Even the things that was hanging vertically. Tried to find the best stuff that I could. Really, in this situation, pine is your best friend and one of your few options. But in handling all the wet wood, and now that it's getting darker, the tips of my fingers and stuff are definitely getting a bit cooler. There we go. That's lit, no problem. Let those get going. If you put stuff on these too quick, sometimes, especially when it's wet, it'll just kind of snuff out the fire plug because the wax hasn't had time, or whatever they treat them with, which has got to be some type of wax, just doesn't have time to melt. Yeah, the shelter's been doing a great job. There already is like a decent amount of condensation inside along the walls, just where I've been in there breathing. But can't complain. It's been nice to have like a fully enclosed space. It just feels a little bit more cozy. But I do apologize for the filming angles in there. I need to upgrade to one of the new GoPros sometime soon, because I have action cameras and some older model GoPros, but they just do not record in low light conditions well at all, especially compared to some of the new ones. Because like even the stuff hanging in trees and stuff right now is just as wet as the stuff that's on the ground. Because like going in and stacking this stuff on there like that, like, you know, clearly you don't want to smother what's below it, but that's just giving the heat a chance to come up through there and dry the stuff out. That's why you see the excess smoke, but we still got some good flame and stuff and some sticks catching down there in the bottom. So I'm going to go collect some more wood. So I am getting hungry. I've got about 2/3 of a canteen cup of water right here. Them two logs are pretty wet. I don't know if it's better to do that. Oh, that got hot real quick. Probably just set it at the edge like we normally do. Because we got all that surface area on that side. There'll be being by a nice hot fire feels very nice. Just kind of takes the dampness in your immediate area out of the air. Okay guys, so I actually am going to take and change the shelter up a little bit. What I'm going to do, just so that I can show you guys the bedding setup and all that, I'm going to take this and tie it out and then just slightly stake out these front corners, and that'll still give us a nice, pretty closed in space. Even if it does snow, but I think that's going to be the best option, especially for filming considerations. Okay, so now this is what we're working with, and I wouldn't be surprised if just a little bit of that heat radiates into our shelter. I could even take and stake out that point right there, but we pretty much just made wings, and now this thing is completely opened up, so I can set up my OUTAKS light in here and my tripod. So win-win. So tonight we're going to be having some sticky teriyaki chicken with garlic, asparagus, and coconut rice. That sounds really good. Right now in this cold, wet weather, any hot food sounds good. So open this up, get that out. Shake it up a bit. Pretty good at eyeballing these things now, so we'll seal this up and give her about 12 to 15 minutes. I am definitely ready to dig into this meal. Smells really good. I'm glad I took and opened up that front portion so that we could do things under here, because it kind of has started sprinkling again. Oh yeah. So far, these Pinnacle food meals have not like missed a beat. I'm thinking now that I have that end open like that, instead of laying this way, I'm going to take and do my bedding that way on this lower end. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to show y'all. Like I said, it's just straightforward. It's just the British Army cold weather sleeping bag inside the Miltech bivvy and two foam pads on top of each other. I am going to sleep this way because I've got this section pulled out from my head, and I just realized there's like a root just right there where my left mid back would be. So not going to screw with that, but we got our Survivor mat. I do wish I could put this inside my bivvy, but as you can probably see from the outside, it's just, this thing doesn't absorb any moisture, but it's just got moisture on it, so we're just going to roll with the punches on that one. Originally, I hadn't planned on putting my Survivor mat on top of this elephant skin, because I thought that this elephant skin would act as a floor maybe for me, but it's not the case. But I'm hoping that this material won't slide too bad. I don't think it will. But now let's see how well, because this thing, the outside of this did get pretty wet. Okay, it looks like it protected our thing pretty good, just a little bit there at the lip that got some moisture on it. Pretty much just have to worry about flattening that out once we actually get our sleeping bag and stuff out, I think. You see, the other reason I was going to put this one inside that bivvy is because this thing is slightly more narrow. Oh yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, and if you took and slept long ways, like with your feet facing the door, there's plenty of room in here for two people. So there's tons of room over here as well. No clue how well some of this is going to end up looking, but I've not even had to wear it, which I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would get cooler, but I've got this thick Brooklyn Armed Forces, really, thick military style fleece. I had that because if I combine that with this wool sweater that I'm wearing, then I'll be good down to really low temps. And like this smock has now it's pretty damp, but with this wool mid layer, I've not even really noticed it. So I mean, that's why wool's king at the end of the day. And something else I brought with me in case I needed it is I brought the Helicon Tech Swagman roll, just because I had so much room in that pack. Just have an additional layer of insulation that I could wear. But then loosely stuffed in here is my bivvy. It's an extreme ratio knife. Didn't really need it for anything. Pull that back out in a second. Just want some of the stuff to avoid getting wet. So the reason I don't already have the sleeping bag in the bivvy is because the sleeping bag compartment on the Tasmanian Tiger pack, it can hold the British bag inside of this bivvy, but by God, it is just an absolute fight to get it in there in that fashion. So yeah, down here in the sleeping bag compartment, I got it in the U.S. military compression bag, which is what I had them in together that time that we had both of them down there. And I'm hoping that I can get my backpack to still stand with some shape against that wall, because of the way that it's going to droop otherwise. But cool. Make sure we keep everything of the sleeping bag, every part of the sleeping bag on the bivvy and or ground mat. And the outside of this bag is supposed to be pretty water repellent. And then we'll get our fleece out here, and that'll be your pillow. And here we are, all nice and cozy in the bivvy. I went ahead and just hopped in because my pants was, the bottoms around the ankles of my boots was pretty dang wet. So, unlike usual, not sleeping in my pants. But I am going to leave this wool sweater on for now. It doesn't feel damp at all, but I just want my body heat to, you know, I just kind of want to see how it regulates inside this sleeping bag. And I mean, we're underneath this tarp shelter, we're fully protected, so I'm not going to be really completely closing the bivvy. Like, I'll probably close it up to about here and keep this flap and just have my head inside of the sleeping bag. That should work really, really good. But I mean, just crawling in this thing, these two foam pads, as far as comfort goes, like, you know, laying on your back, I don't know about laying on your side. Normally whenever I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag or something like this, I just sleep on my back. But it yeah, this setup overall is just 10 out of 10. Like, this is the type of setup that I could easily stay at for weeks on end, I believe. So that's going to do it for now, guys. It looks like this rain sleet mix is going to continue throughout the night. I kind of hope we wake up to a bit of snow, but you know, mountain weather, you never really know. So talk to you guys in the morning. Good night. Good morning, guys. How's it going? Well, as you can probably hear, it is still raining and sleeting this morning. Went out to take a leak, and there's a lot of ice and stuff on the trees. You can really see it on the pine trees. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on the video when some of the ones that are higher up, but yeah, unfortunately didn't get a lot of snow. Normally that just means that there's a layer or two of warmer air above, you know, this lower air that's obviously freezing and or below freezing. So that's what we're left with. I think there's supposed to be another like 2 hours of this, so ultimately I'm probably just going to try to wait it out a little bit. But there's not anything else I really have planned for this morning other than maybe just stirring up a pot of coffee. But the this tarp shelter configuration worked beautifully. Just really no complaints whatsoever. My backpack hip belt straps are sticking out a little bit, but that's just where I'd push it up like really far against the wall for filming purposes. But there's tons of room in here. I could have just laid it down flat right there. And yeah, the sleep system, I took and zipped it up back all the way where I'd just been outside for a second. But yeah, still got the wool sweater on. Just kind of left it unzipped the chest for just pretty much most of the night, leaving this sweater on. I was perfectly fine. The bivvy, the only part of it that's seen any little bit of action was just down here at the foot area where some splashed in against it, so nothing there. Just a really comfortable sleep system with the 2 pads. Didn't feel a speck of cold coming up from the ground. And yeah, this will definitely be a configuration that I want to use in the future. If there's any specific tarp configurations you'd like to see me use, let me know in the comments section. I'll be sure to do it. I've used a lot, tried a lot of them, the more complex ones, and there's normally not any extreme advantage. Some people might consider this a more complex tarp setup, but it's really simple once you break it down. And yeah guys, that is gonna do it for this one. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you've not already, share the channel with your friends, family, anybody that enjoys good old outdoor activities and gear. Remember that if you are curious about the gear and stuff that I use, I try to always link to everything that I use in the video down in the video description, because one of my favorite parts of outdoor videos is learning about new gear and just seeing how it performs in different environments. Hit me up in that comment section, thoughts, opinions, questions, whatever you feel like typing out. And until the next one, guys, adios.